Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Where we'll, with an age-old question, be finally answered. Did someone move into an empty lot on Fawnhollow, and is it fauna? The answer's probably being maybe and no, in all reality. But isn't it strange? It's been like 5 days or so since someone's actually moved in. Maybe people don't want to move in, the housing market's all crazy right now. We've probably called up Tom Nook being like, oh, this is a prime spot for a location of moving on the island, it's going to really cost you, and people are just like, oh, I can't afford that right now. Anyway, hello everyone, right now in Fawnhollow it's 5:33pm on Monday to September 27th, 2021. I have to really speak up today, so we'll go about our usual business. But yeah, I mean, can't blame them, moving house it's not as easy as it appears to be in Animal Crossing terms. You got all this documentation, all this admin stuff you got to go take care of, and of course the financial side, and then actually physically moving all your stuff. When you're a kid, at least I found it all very exciting. I suppose it helped that I didn't, when I was younger, didn't move like too far away, and I never moved schools and that sort of thing. Hold on, is there anything better than receiving a letter? Oh, hold on, we've definitely had this before. Sorry, Amelia, it's actually a really lovely letter, but we'd say farewell to it. But when I was younger, moving house was always rather exciting. But of course, now as you get older, you sort of realise I'm not going to say inconvenience, because it's not something you really choose and be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to choose to randomly move my house today. It's something you kind of do out of convenience sake for. Still, no one's moved in. That is incredible. Because it's kind of what you have to do. You got to, if you got to like move out, if you want to start a new chapter in your life, there's not really like many ways around it. Inevitability, you might say. Hello Flick, I see you are our visitor for today. So after we do a few missions, we'll make sure to get you your bug. Yeah, when I was much younger, I moved a few times. Nothing like crazy, and we weren't like all up and down the country or anything like that. It was still located within a reasonable like range, I suppose. Like I could go visit some of my childhood houses if I really wanted to. Not that there's really much point, because I'd sort of like turn up and be like, hey, I don't live here anymore. And they'd be like, okay, come in. And then I'll be like, thanks. And then I'd walk in and be like, what am I doing here? I suppose. Of course, I do have nostalgia for my old homes I used to live in, but it's of course, other people live there now. Probably. I mean, unless they've been bulldozed or something, which would be quite surprising. But last I knew, people are still living there, and they're making their memories in their house, and I'm quite fine with where I am right now. But yeah, when you're younger, moving's always very exciting. Well, at least for me. I don't think other people always necessarily found it so exciting, depending on what like consequences came with moving. But for me, it was like a cool change of pace, I suppose. It was nice to see like it was fun to like sort of pack everything up and organize everything into like boxes, and you get everything in ship-shape and order. You get like your parents like hire this big moving van or whatever, and you can pile up all your boxes inside of it, and then it's all really fun riding like on a trip. You like fall asleep on the lorry, and your parents wake you up, and you're already like, this is a house, because not to even mention the part that sometimes you had to go on house tours as well. Of course, your parents, depending on the age you were when you moved, had to probably take you along, or maybe they'll go during school time, depending on if their job allows them, or that sort of thing. But yeah, they will might bring you along, and you'll have a grand old time sort of looking around the place, being like, oh, look how weird and different this house is compared to our house, or like maybe it's empty. If you sometimes visit a house which is no one living in, or you talk to a family, that sort of thing, and you get the exciting time when you're a child, and other like random families coming to visit your home, because they want to see if they want to buy your house and that sort of thing. That's how the chain of lodging commerce. That's not really how I wanted to describe it. I'm trying to think of a synonym for like housing. That's how the housing market thrives, I suppose, or well, works with the whole chains of things. I remember our primary school head teacher, or principal, I suppose if you want to use American term for it, trying to describe the housing market to us when I was in primary school. I was year 2, I think, so I must have been around 6 or 7 or so. And I remember what he did is he got like 7 people from the class below us to go stand up in front, and then he like made up the story basically about like this housing chain market. And I'm trying to remember one of the kid. First off, it started with a kid who just wanted to move out from his parents' house, which you can see this was definitely back in the early 2000s when people talk about it, because he like just finished university or that sort of thing. And he was all excited to move into like a flat of his own or something, and finally move out from his parents. And then the next chain was like, oh, he's gonna buy his house from this other student. No, I can't remember the student. I think the first student was called like Luke. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't sound right. But he was gonna buy a house from someone else, and that person was someone who just got married. He was like, oh, we just got married, and they're looking for a two-person house to settle down into. Where is this balloon? I don't know why I remember this story so well, but apparently it still resides in my memory, and it's very exciting for him. So he's looking for a house to buy, and he's going to buy his house from this other student. And why is this student moving out? It's because, you know, he's already been married. They've been together for like 5 years now, and then they just had children. And in fact, they've had triplets, so they need like a really big house to move into to accommodate for their growing family and that sort of thing. And it's all been like, you know, very lovely, and you know, it's been very hectic because the two-person apartment's no longer big enough for the children when they eventually grow up. So then he buys his house from this other student, and she was like she was like quite old. She was like getting to the age where not she, you know, wanted to retire, but all her children had grown up. They were all moved out, and they're all like in their 40s and or like, that's a bit old, 20s and 30s and that sort of age, you know. And right now she's just got a huge, oh, we didn't sell the rocking horse. A rocking horse. She wanted her to move out into a smaller home because it's, you know, expensive. It's a big empty home. It's really tedious trying to like look after everything which appears in the home. It's really, you know, annoying trying to clean everything, and it just feels a bit empty. So she's looking to retire like by the beachside or that sort of thing with her husband, and you know, that'll be the end of the days. And then, you know, who's she? A boomerang? What the heck? What the heck's a tree branch reef as well? I don't even know what these are. And then the final person's like the person that she wants to buy house from. Oh, tree branch reef. You know what? We should actually harvest some tree branches because we are very much running out. Wants to he's an elderly old man. He's getting very old in his years, 80s. He's retired. He's lived by his life by the beach, but now it's becoming increasingly difficult for him to take care of himself properly because, you know, he's becoming frailer and weaker in his old age, and so he's deciding to move in with his son, who lives like, I don't know, his like 30-year-old son. He's got a family, and, you know, my grandpa will move into the house and that sort of thing. Especially because it's so lonely for him, because unfortunately his wife passed away or that sort of thing. And they all set up this train of, come on, and we were like, oh cool, this is how the housing market works, you know, everyone has to all go buy a house from someone else. Like, a lot of the times houses don't sort of just pop up on the streets unless, you know, the government have like constructed flats or that sort of thing, which is very plausible, of course, but in this scenario it did not happen. And then suddenly he was like, oh no, the husband who who gave birth to, well, not the husband I suppose, and the wife gave birth to triplets, suddenly was now made redundant. And I remember he used the word redundant, and at that time I was like, I don't even know what redundant means. And I don't think anyone probably in IEM were too aware of what word redundant means. I mean, you know, some people probably did, to be fair. Me, I guess I was not smart enough. In fact, so I was thinking, what does redundant mean? But, you know, I could tell from clues it meant that he lost his job. He no longer has the money. He can no longer purchase. And then he did this very dramatic thing of working down the chain and being like, he has to apologise to the next person, be like, sorry, I can't buy your house anymore. I no longer have the money for it. And then he's sorry, I can't sell this house anymore. I don't have them because I can't move out from it because I have no other house to buy anymore. And then he just, the principal did this really dramatic chain of events, like working down. The people being like, oh no, I can't move in. Oh no, I can't buy a house. I'm sorry, I can't sell you my house. I know, I can't move you my house because I can't sell you that house. And it all went terribly wrong. And then he went all the way to the end to the person whose grandpa was going to move into him. And he goes, yay, my grandpa's not going to move into us anymore. And I don't know why that stuck in my memory, but there you go. There's one of the rousing, not house assemblies, just regular old assemblies that's happened within my life back in my primary school, which for some reason I just remember. I have no clue why that is stuck in my head. I don't know why I favourited it was, to be honest, but there you go. And that's, you know, the housing chain, I suppose, and that sort of thing. Of course, things are certainly much more different because that, let's see, if I was in year 2, it would have been like 2004 or something. And, you know, certainly a different time than it is right now, with the housing market being quite difficult depending on where you live. But yeah, I remember that's my first introduction to, you know, because when you're young, when you move house, you don't really think about it, but you never really think about the fact that other people are also moving house. You know, other people have to buy, or someone is going to move into your house, and you got to sell your house. A pearl doesn't count as a deep sea creature. Are you kidding me? Someone has to buy your house, and you have to buy a house from someone, and of course everyone's doing this whole thing, so it's just this huge chain. And then, you know, when you first realize it when you're a child, you're like, but when does the chain end? And then eventually you're like, oh, you know, someone's going to move into a house from already living in a house, from a house which is not being sold, and someone's going to move into a house, or perhaps move into a house which is unoccupied at the moment, which has happened a few times before. I don't mean like in history, I mean like when we moved house, maybe not a few times. But yeah, I mean, selling a house is always interesting. Although when you're a teenager, it becomes much more of a nuisance. You're like, I like a house. I don't want to decorate my room again. I don't want to, you know, move away from my friends. Luckily, I never had to move particularly far away from my friends or anything. It just made things a bit more inconvenient. Like, because we moved from the town my primary school was in to the next town over, that sort of thing, which made it so I couldn't really hang out with my friends anymore after school. Like, in part, not that I really did all that often in the first place, but I certainly couldn't at that point anymore because you know, I had to get picked up by car, and you know, can't keep my parents waiting. Car, that sort of thing, so just drove home. But you know, when you're a teenager, it's just more like, oh, I'm not sure if I've ever told this story before, but back when I was a teenager, before GCSEs actually, I think I was in year 8, so this would have made me 14 or something. We were selling our house, and we were looking to move again. I should say my family. It's not like I really had much say in the matter, to be honest. Not that I would particularly care either way. But oh yeah, let's talk to Flick and give him the stuff, and talk to Phoebe, give her a present. And we were selling our house, of course, and we were doing house tours and that sort of thing. So often other people would come to visit our house to see if they wanted to purchase it, seeing give a little tour of our house and that sort of thing. So as that happened, often people would just come to visit, and a lot of times I would just stay in my room and just do work or something, or play some games or something, just undisturbed, because you know, my room at the time was very tiny. It was basically a bed, a cupboard, and my desk, and that was it. It was quite small, and honestly I preferred it that way. I liked having a small room, you know, and I liked everything being cozy. Sorry about that little bit of a jump cut there. What was I talking about? I was talking about moving house or something. I can't remember exactly what my point was, I suppose, while I was doing things, but moving house, something exciting, something you can something. Sorry, my brain's a bit rattled. Sitting in a moving van, I suppose, is pretty exciting. Waiting for, you know, to arrive at your new house. Oh yeah, it was when you were touring your house. Wait, did I finish telling the story? Okay. we were selling our house. That was it. And then, I was a teen. I was just chilling in my room, and that sort of thing. Just doing homework and that sort of thing. Very tiny room, you know. Most people didn't really want a tour around my room. They sort of just pop in, they sort of just look in, they pick their head in, and I, you know, give them a wave and that sort of thing, and then I continue back to whatever work or whatever thing I was doing, and they'd be like, oh, okay, you know, this is a small room or whatever, because we had a few bedrooms upstairs, and mine being a very small room, and of course the parents' room, my sister's room, but then one of the times. I was, you know, had my headphones on, and I can't remember, I was doing some work on my computer, maybe I was watching a video or something. I just hear, dear, of course not dear, my actual name, which I'm not going to say, obviously, not for many privacy reasons, but you know me as dear, so why not continue that? And I'm like, what? I didn't say it like that, but I was I recognise that voice. Turned around, it was my art teacher. My art teacher was looking to buy a house with, what? I like elegant flowers. Elegant flowers, eh? Cool. I bet that says a lot about you and the kind of buddies you hang with. A garden full of elegant flowers means you hang out with stylish, complex, and artistic types. Kind of another way of saying you've got fancy taste, dearie. Sure, Phoebe. And that was probably incredibly mortifying at the time. I was like, oh my god, my art teacher is in my home. And apparently, when he was downstairs, he was talking to the estate agent, and he saw my like school photo like up on the wall. I was like, I know this student. I teach him. And well, teach me he did. And it was a very scary situation where I found my art teacher standing behind me in my room. Like, the best part of it, at least, was I wasn't doing anything particularly like crazy. I was probably just like playing a game or like doing maths homework or something at the time. I don't even recall, but it was absolutely mortifying to teenage me to be like, oh my god, my teacher is in my house. It's completely unprompted. How dare he? Which of course, you know, he's every right to. He's buying a house, and even looking back in retrospect, not really that big a deal, to be honest. It's just kind of funny to think about, but at the time it was, you know, incredibly embarrassing, and I, of course, never brought it up to my teacher. If it happened to me now, like if I had my, I suppose, adult sensibilities, I was very lucky. We actually got something from it. I didn't mean to shake it. I definitely, like, in a next day in the art class or whatever, I'd just be like, hey, you want to buy my house? Or something like, I probably wouldn't say it like so strangely like that, or maybe I would, I don't know. But I'd probably have an amusing conversation about it rather than just being like, you know. It's kind of funny, I find, but of course at the time, you know, unsurprisingly as a teenager, I did not find it so funny. It was just like, end me right now. Luckily I have a minimalist style, so and I wasn't doing anything particularly weird. Not like why would you do anything weird when people are visiting your house anyway, you know? If you do weird stuff, do it when they've left. To be perfectly honest, I don't think I'm all that weird or anything, but like, you know, what if they just walked in like unfortunate time where like I was watching, I know, a weird YouTube video and be like, oh no, he knows I play Animal Crossing. So that's kind of funny. Most of the times I don't really remember. I remember when I was very, very young, in a different house or something, like a family. My father came to visit with his 3 daughters or something, and I was just hanging out with him or something. I guess he was also, you know, just being a father, entertaining me at the same time, while his wife looked around and like talked about the boiler room location or something like that. I can't remember. I told a story to him, but I don't remember exactly what the story was. It was something where it was something like I shot at the bedroom window because I thought it was a different window when we were having like water gun fights back in summer. And, you know, of course, it's the most nonsensical story, but I was also like 5. So, you know, him being the adult, the parent, a father, not my father, but a father in the situation, probably went, oh, yeah, very, very interesting, you know, playing along. As if what I said wasn't just something absolutely asininely stupid. I mean, what was I, like 5? Oh, yeah. It's just weird to think about, I suppose. But no, there's a very sort of strange sensation when you first move into a home. It's like, this is your new home, but, you know, you haven't really moved into it yet. You're still, like, getting accustomed to everything. Not everything's still, like, in little boxes around the place. Everything's still wrapped up. Nothing's unpacked, and it doesn't feel like a home you're living in. It's just more like, by definition, it is your home now, you know, both through, like, definition and, you know, forms at your parents' side being like, this is your home. But isn't it just weird? It's like, it's not like Uncanny Valley, because that doesn't make any sense, but it's kind of like Uncanny Valley. Oh, I did not mean to buy an Aloha shirt. Get out of here. We'll start buying that stuff when we run out of things to buy. We'll run out of Nook Mile tickets to buy. When we finally find Fauna and have no longer any need for Nook Mile points. Which actually sort of begs the question, what are we going to do once we have enough Nook Mile, once we found Fauna? You know, we're not going to need the Nook Mile missions anymore. I guess we'll just sort of get to work on trying to complete all the other achievements that we got left to do. That's probably what we'll do. I'm not sure if we got enough time to really get a hot item cell. Oh no, we've made the hot item, didn't we? It was the sticks. Yeah, I think we've done it already. Now we just need to hit rocks and get these fossils identified and clear out inventory, and we should be good to go, mostly. I'm trying to think of any other exciting house moving stories. There's not really much, because it's not much that happens. Most of it, it's like, you know, it just sort of happens, doesn't it? The final day is a bit, you know, sad. You're leaving, you know, your old home behind and all the memories that you've made behind in it, but you're going to make new memories in your new home, and you're going to have sooner or later, once you've lived in this new place for a while, you're going to be able to call this new place your home. I mean, obviously, maybe not for the case, depending on the situation. Not always. You know, if you have a strong attachment to your previous home, if you're moving, like, when you don't want to. But it's always a very common, sort of, like, story thing to talk about, in kids' books and that sort of thing. Like, you know, Jacqueline Wilson talked about it in her book, Best Friends? Is that what it's called? Hold on. Jacqueline Wilson, very popular when I was younger. Probably still is. I'm writing these books of, like, two best friends. I didn't Google it, so your books didn't come up. Come on, Google. Oh, happy birthday to Google, apparently. Jacqueline Wilson. We should talk about these books sometimes. No, it's not Tracy Beaker. No, it's not Double Act. I don't know if she's popular in other countries, but she's English, as I recall. The Suitcase Kid? It's not the Suitcase Kid. Wow, these are really old. These are like 1990s. I'm looking at it now. Sleepovers? No. My Sister Jodie Cookie? Lottie Project? Bed and Breakfast. I feel like I've read some of these, but like these are not the ones I was thinking of. Worst thing about my sister, my mum, Tracy Beaker. It was about a girl and her friend, and she was like moving away. Her friend was moving away, and they basically tried to plan to run away together, or that sort of thing, and they were crying a huge amount because they moving away, or that sort of thing. It was very sad, but you know, it's just like one of the classic stories, I suppose, for young kids to read about as you know, like moving away, or like a friend moving away and like being split up. Is that a Suitcase Kid? I don't think it's a Suitcase Kid. That doesn't sound right. Caught between a warring parents and a bitter divorce. No, it wasn't that one. Bad Girls. I remember Bad Girls. Hold on, I definitely read this book, but I don't remember what it's about. 10-year-old being bullied by 3 girls called Kim, Sarah, and Melanie. I vaguely remember this. I'm gonna read that later. Dustman Baby. I remember this title. Sleepovers. I remember, but it's not any of these. Is it Bed and Breakfast Star? I remember the main character had like this wild, like spiky hairish. Mac was back. No. One of the things I remember is she was like grating some cheese, and you know, because she had like a spat with her parents because she was really upset that her best friend was moving away, and then, you know, they argued and they tried to run away, and then, you know, the mother's like trying to bond with her again and that sort of thing. The mother, I remember being like not a horrible person, but she was being harshly mean, and then, you know, she eventually came around being like, okay, obviously my sister's having a tough time. I feel like her name is Gemma. I don't know why that suddenly came to mind. Hold on, maybe that will come up. Jacqueline Wilson. Gemma Jackson. Best Friends. It was called Best Friends. How? It's not on here. Google, what are you doing? How on earth did I remember that? I can't remember what her best friend's name was, like Alice or something. Best Friends. What's the novel? How did I remember Gemma and Alice? That is actually unbelievable. This book came out in 2004, and I remembered it. But I suppose this is the story that had the largest impact on me, I suppose, as a child. Actually, you know what? Keep this around, because we might want to sell that later for the thingamajig. Oh, we don't need to sell those. Keep that. Tree branch reef. Yes, there we go. There we go. Selling everything that we actually need to. Yeah, it's a very common story to talk about, like, kids moving away, that sort of thing. It's a very tragic situation, but for me it was never, I suppose because I never had these negative connotations of it, I was like, oh, it doesn't feel that bad to me, because, you know, I never, like, had to move away and, like, leave my friends, or anything like that, or leave, like, go to a whole new scary world, because, you know, we just stayed relatively in the same area. I had friends move away, you know, and it's not that uncommon for kids to leave your primary school because they're moving away or that sort of thing. You know, and some of them were good friends, some of them were like okay friends, that sort of thing, you know. And I feel like in primary school you're kind of friends with everyone, so perhaps it's the witness meeting. I think we can just get 2,000 Nook Mile points to get that final ticket. I'm not certain, but the things we've got to do and not too difficult. And how much more do we need? We need about 650. That's going to actually be quite difficult. Okay, I don't think we're going to be able to do it in time. But we're going to try. We're going to try. Was that catch fish or was it catch deep sea creatures? Okay, deep sea creatures, bugs. We need to get some coconuts as well to craft things. Okay, it's gonna be touchy, but I think it's possible. We had to do both the deep sea creatures and the bug catching one, I think, as well as the crafting and customization one. Okay, that's doable. But yeah, it was never all that sad for me. But I suppose this is, you know, like I had a different situation. You know, it wasn't too bad for me. I moved around. Of course, if you maybe had to leave your friends behind, if you had to constantly change schools and that sort of thing, and locations, it's gonna definitely take its toll on you as a kid. So you know, hopefully, if I have a family, wait, hold on, if I start my own family, in the future, I'm gonna do my best to not do that to my kid. Keep my kids, I think, you know, unless like absolutely forced or something like that. It's a difficult situation, but you know, I've seen it happen. To have you know, kids and who I knew, you know, they move around a lot, and you know, it has an impact. Of course, you know, but like, you know what? Let's just like stop me commenting on it because it's not really applicable to me, so I don't really know. But it's a very common thing in children's book stories and that sort of thing, and you know, reading about it makes me kind of understand it more. I suppose about that sort of thing when the characters go for it, because I suppose it's always the first time I read about it, always read about it or like see it happen. Like I think it was in Recess. It was like Gus. Like his parents were talking about possibly, like he interpreted it as his parents wanted to move again, and he was like an army kid, and he had moved to like 8 different schools or something within like the past couple of years or that sort of thing, and he was like so shaken up about it, and like he didn't want to go, and especially because he really really liked it in the Recess store. I can't remember what the school was called, and yeah, it was just like really really tragic to him. And I remember watching an episode being like, oh, you know, I'd never really seen it that way before. It was like eye-opening, I suppose you might say. We need 500. Okay, so I think Bugs is. Yeah, Bugs is. Oh no, we need 3 of things. So we need fish and bugs. Ooh, it's gonna be a bit difficult to get done in time. So I think we'll just have to take our Nookmar ticket right now and just, you know, go for it. If that was an easier mission, if that was like talk to 3 people and or like sell things, I think we could have done it in time, but unfortunately, because the only missions we have now are catch bugs and catch fish, those take too long. I can't believe I remembered best friends and both the characters' names. Gemma Jackson, Alice Barlow. I remember that. I don't remember Biscuits. Who the heck is this? Tubby boy who loves food. Oh, I do vaguely remember this. Anyway, we're going to close out of this. Jacqueline Wilson, you're going to be a conversation topic definitely for another time. She's quite old now, I think. I think she's like in her 70s or something, right? I have no idea if her books are even popular anymore, but very popular when I was younger. Not so much a case, I think, around now, but who knows? Maybe she's still killing it, I don't know. You just couldn't shake a stick without finding one of her books in like the book day fair, whatever called. The Booktastic Book Day. I know like in America it's got like a specific name which everyone knows. I can't remember what it's called in the UK, to be honest. Isn't it called like the Booktastic Book Fair or something in America? I don't think it's called that in the UK, but honestly I don't quite recall. Fauna? Fauna? Are you here? Fauna? Are you here? No one's on this island. That is clear. No, it's you. You're like Joey or something? I can't remember. But yeah, I guess we'll round up this episode off here. Moving house. It's weird I talked about this because I'm not actually moving home or anything like that. I'm just talking about it like conceptually. But if I was moving home, you might be like, this was a really relevant time to talk about it. Or I guess if I was moving house, I probably wouldn't have made an Animal Crossing video because that's quite difficult to sort of slot in. But yeah, there you go. If you've moved house and you had bad experiences, I apologise. Even though I'm not because I like caused it or anything, but I apologise for the difficult situation it's put you through, especially if you move around a lot as a child and that sort of thing. So yeah, on that really very well constructed and very well phrased ending. If you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscriptions, shares are greatly appreciated. Join Video Darling in Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye bye for now.